Tonight on 7 News, a COVID alert for southwestern suburbs on the eve of restrictions easing. An Altona scare on Victoria's 22nd day of zero cases. Mask rules are set to be relaxed tomorrow. The government's hotel quarantine promise, but new concerns the Australian Open will have to be delayed. New details tonight on the pizza worker whose lie sent a state into lockdown. Work on the airport rail link to start within 2 years, taking travellers to the city in under half an hour. Donald Trump's son tests positive to coronavirus as the president himself takes a swing at vaccine producers. And a star bulldog breaks his silence on that failed move to Essendon.
Live from Melbourne, 7 News with Blake Johnson starts now.
Good evening. A COVID alert has been issued for Melbourne's southwest the day before our next big step out of lockdown. Authorities are baffled by the discovery of coronavirus in wastewater at Altona as Victoria marks a 22nd straight day of no new cases.
Celebrating with food and friends, another day of good news. It's becoming our new normal. No extra cases, no more deaths.
There is now just one active case in Victoria.
That elderly person is in hospital, but it doesn't mean we've eradicated coronavirus from the community. It could still be lingering in Victorians, undetected. That theory bolstered by a concerning discovery. Fragments of the virus found in wastewater at the Altona sewage catchment, prompting authorities to issue a plea to residents or visitors in Altona, Altona Meadows, Seahome, Sanctuary Lakes and parts of Laverton, Point Cook and Williams Landing to be particularly vigilant and get tested no matter how mild symptoms are. It could be from a carrier who lives in the area or was passing through, or from a person who had it and is still shedding remnants.
The result is really unexpected, given that there have been some 8 weeks since the last known resident in these areas had a coronavirus illness or diagnosis.
A fresh round of eased restrictions will be announced tomorrow.
I'd like to get rid of these.
The masks, 100% the masks.
The masks.
Yeah, right.
Would be great.
Get rid of them.
Because I have to keep going, hi baby, it's still mummy.
Masks will continue to play an important role in keeping us safe.
Our roadmap out suggests the Premier will confirm limits on outdoor public gatherings will increase to 50 people. You'll be allowed 10 visitors in your home. Weddings and funeral limits are set to expand to 100, plus 100 customers inside pubs, restaurants and cafes, 200 outside. In hospitality, patrons have returned, but operators, particularly of large venues, hope limits will increase.
Obviously make a massive difference as far as viability and turnover and everything, but obviously the community support and everything and having people in here and creating the best vibe, that's what we're about.
Other changes expected tomorrow include beauty salons and barbers, again allowed to offer services for clients who aren't wearing masks, so lip waxing, facials and beard trimming, plus increased numbers in venues like gyms, churches and cinemas. That is expected at a press conference, Blake, late tomorrow morning. When it happens, we'll bring it to you live on 7.
Paul Dowsley there at Albert Park. Fresh details are emerging about Victoria's new hotel quarantine program. We're promised it'll be the most rigorous in the nation. Returning travellers begin arriving in just 16 days, but the government refuses to say if any will be allowed to quarantine at home.
After the fatal flaws of the first hotel quarantine program, today a promise.
All Victorians can have confidence that the system that will be put in place will be the most rigorous in the nation.
But few details on new safeguards to prevent another deadly outbreak when returned travellers touch down in Melbourne on December 7.
Making sure that we have forward-looking contact tracing to make sure that the workforce involved in keeping us safe through hotel quarantine simply works at those dedicated locations.
The government needs to show us
they've learnt from their mistakes.
The outbreak in South Australia this week has again reinforced just how risky hotel quarantine can be. But despite the inquiry's recommendation to allow returned travellers to isolate at home, that option is looking unlikely after proving unpopular with National Cabinet. Although Victorian authorities have yet to decide who will foot the hotel bills, travellers or taxpayers.
The government hasn't made a formal or final position in terms of how the hotel quarantine arrangements might apply.
Who will run the program is also a mystery, along with the rules.
Getting in the ADF, getting in Victoria Police, don't use untrained private security guards who don't know what they're doing, who don't understand infection control.
The more Australians we can get home before Christmas, the better.
The pressure is mounting on Victoria, with 36,000 Australians currently stranded overseas and desperate to come home.
Maybe the government will look at things like electronic monitoring.
What is known, the state's intake of returned travellers will be small at first, capped at 160 passengers per day, fewer than half the number accepted every day by New South Wales. The timeline to welcome international travellers into Melbourne also has major ramifications for the Australian Open, which is now at risk of being postponed until as late as April. Tournament organisers today cancelled the junior events because of travel restrictions. There are also reports players could boycott the tournament if they're not allowed into Melbourne with enough time to prepare. The Premier says no decision has been made.
I'm very confident that we'll have an Aussie Open in the early part of next year. The exact timing of it, the exact arrangements we put in place, they're not settled yet.
So there's no official start date and no indication as to how many fans will be allowed to attend, and tickets go on sale next week, Blake.
All right, Christy, thank you. South Australia's shortened lockdown ends at midnight. Andrea Nicholas is in Adelaide. Andrea, we've learnt more about the pizza worker whose lie sparked the shutdown.
We have, Blake. We now know this man is a 36-year-old Spanish national here on a temporary graduate visa that was set to expire in December. Of course, that wasn't soon enough to stop the deceit that sent our state into lockdown. He's currently in hotel quarantine while police investigate two other people and whether they had a role in the cover-up. And with widespread anger over this lockdown, they're monitoring that pizza bar very closely tonight. Now, this lockdown isn't due to end till midnight, but with searing heat in Adelaide today, hundreds of people have flocked to the beach, flouting the rules, and businesses too have thumbed their noses at the tough rules, saying they had to go into work to prepare to open as early as midnight. But we do have some good news. Just one new case in South Australia today. They are linked to the Parafield cluster, which now has 26 cases. But authorities are warning our case numbers could spike tomorrow, with an Australian record number of tests yesterday, more than 19,000. So we're not quite out of the woods yet, Blake.
Andrea, thank you. Plans for the airport rail link are finally on track, taking travellers from Tullamarine to the city in under half an hour. A $10 billion deal has been done, and after half a century of promises, the government's promising this time it will be built.
For decades, there's been talk of a Melbourne airport link.
Well, we need fast rail links from the airport to the city. Labor's committed to that.
Now, confirmation will have one before 2030.
Looking forward to getting on with it. The intention is that we get this underway in 2022.
With the PM currently in quarantine, today's milestone announcement was made virtually. The state and federal governments contributing $5 billion each.
The fact that it's going to become a reality because of our partnership is a proud moment and a very important moment.
8,000 construction jobs will be created. Services will run every 10 minutes, with no need to change trains along the busy Cranbourne-Pakenham line.
Every other metropolitan line will only have to do one change and they'll find themselves at the airport.
The train will get to its first stop at Sunshine in 11 minutes. Travelling via the new State Library station, passengers will arrive at the new Town Hall precinct in just under half an hour, while a trip to the southeastern suburbs like Clayton will take an hour. The shuttle will be slower than the Skybus by about 8 minutes, But the rail link lets passengers avoid the city and go straight to their suburb.
The fact of the matter is that very few journeys start and end at Southern Cross Station.
All services will stop at a new Sunshine Super Hub. Traders there hoping it will bring more customers their way.
This is going to be fantastic news for the area.
Boost jobs, boost local businesses, especially now at the time that we need the most.
There's also $4 billion for the Geelong Fast Rail project that will cut the commute to Southern Cross Station to just 50 minutes. Work will start in 2023, but at this stage there's no date set for when it will be finished.
It'll be done as fast as we can possibly do it.
Estelle Greepink, 7 News.
America's COVID crisis has struck close to the White House again, with the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., testing positive. It came on the day the first US vaccine was submitted for approval, with hopes patients will be given the jab within weeks.
The scientific sprint for a COVID vaccine, now on the home stretch.
This is a historic day. An historic day for science and for all of us.
Today, Pfizer and BioNTech lodged their vaccine candidate with Washington's Food and Drug Administration for emergency approval. They say it's 95% effective. It could be in use next month. Other vaccines close behind.
You wouldn't have a vaccine if it weren't for me for another 4 years, because FDA would have never been able to do what they did, what I forced them to do.
Never mind the triumph, President Trump slams pharmaceutical companies. He says they stalled their COVID vaccines to cruel his chances of winning a second term.
In other words, not come out with a vaccine until just after the election.
The accusation as America's pandemic third wave surges to new highs, daily deaths above 2,000, hospital admissions and new cases both records. Among new COVID cases, Donald Trump Jr., the president's eldest son, and White House aide Andrew Giuliani, a day after he went to this Washington news conference with his dad, Rudy Giuliani. President-elect Joe Biden stayed socially distanced as he met senior Democrats today on his 78th birthday. President Trump still focused on overturning this month's election.
Which I won, by the way, but, we'll find that out. Almost 74 million votes.
Many here believe President Trump no longer expects to reverse his election loss. Rather, he plans to build among his supporters a sense he was cheated and use it as a platform to run for the presidency again in 4 years. In Washington, D.C., Tim Lester, 7 News.
Police have raided a South Bank apartment. The critical incident response team was called out early this morning following reports of an assault. One man was arrested and another suffered a minor injury. Police say the people involved all know each other. The Prime Minister has described a report into alleged war crimes of Australian soldiers in Afghanistan as disturbing and distressing. But Scott Morrison is urging the public not to let the accusations taint their view of veterans.
Appearing virtually from isolation in the lodge after his return from Japan, the Prime Minister responds to what some have labelled the most shameful episode in Australia's military history.
The contents of that report are disturbing and distressing.
The PM now worried the inquiry, which alleged a litany of war crimes, may see the public turn on servicemen and women.
Every time that they might be at a remembrance service or something like that, I want Australians to look at them in the eye the same way they used to, with nothing more than respect and thanks.
The inquiry claimed junior soldiers were ordered to execute Afghan prisoners in a ritual known as blooding. Included in the heavily redacted report is a recommendation 8 lower-ranked soldiers who pulled the trigger be given immunity from prosecution if they testify against those who gave the kill orders.
Granting immunity when the crimes have been so heinous, when they've been so cold-blooded, I think are inappropriate, would send the wrong message.
Scott Morrison says any decisions around whether or not soldiers should have their charges waived is something that will be dealt with by the yet-to-be-named War Crimes Special Investigator.
So it can take carriage of those issues forward in a proper process, with the presumption of innocence, obviously, which is so essential.
While the report has cast a shadow over the ADF, experts say the way we deal with it will set a global example.
The world is looking on. What happens in Australia is being intently scrutinised by coalition partners, and by others.
Rob Scott, 7 News.
Accused child sex abuser Malka Leifer has been dumped by her legal team. It's a setback for the former Elstonwick school principal who is fighting extradition from Israel. She's wanted in Victoria on 74 charges relating to the sexual abuse of students. An Israeli court approved her extradition to Australia in September. Her appeal will be heard on December 3. A wild brawl has erupted outside a Chadstone pub, leaving one man in hospital. Emergency services were called after an argument between two groups of men turned violent. 5 men were arrested and interviewed by police, but have since been released. While investigations continue, it's not known what started the brawl. Police are now appealing for witnesses. Prince Harry has expressed concern the tabloid press is trying to drive a wedge between he and his brother. It's over the ongoing claims about how the BBC secured its 1995 Panorama interview with their mother, Diana.
I'm really pleased to be part of tonight's gathering for a cause that is so close to my heart.
Something closer to Prince Harry's heart, his mother, the Duke of Sussex, understood to be closely following the row that's erupted over Diana's controversial interview a quarter of a century ago. A source close to Harry says you do not need a public statement to imagine how he is feeling privately. People know how much his mother means to him. Sadly, some people are not just seeing this as a drive for truth, but also to use this as an opportunity to drive a wedge between the brothers. The infamous Panorama interview now the subject of an independent investigation.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
A former judge is looking at claims that the BBC and journalist Martin Bashir misled Princess Diana in order to get her to agree. 23 years after her death, Diana's younger brother remains determined to honour her wishes.
I feel it's my duty to stand up for her when I can. She left me as, for instance, guardian of her sons.
Charles Spencer wanted this investigation for his sister and for her sons, but he isn't happy. Tweeting, "I am not all satisfied with the parameters they've set around their inquiry into the Panorama interview with Diana 25 years ago." The BBC fired back, saying its review is fully independent. While Prince Harry fights for his mother's memory from the other side of the world, his former UK home, Frogmore Cottage, has new tenants. He's handed over the keys to his pregnant cousin, Princess Eugenie, and husband Jack. Jordan Cutts, 7 News.
A star bulldog has broken his silence on a trade fail, and that headline sport with Jackie Felgate.
Hello, Blake. Yes, Josh Dunkley has revealed he's had a heart-to-heart with coach Luke Beveridge to clear the air. Today, he swapped the Sherrin for the Kookaburra. All the details are ahead in sport. Also, a breath of fresh air is all Adam Zampa needs for a successful summer of cricket. A slice of Irish luck in a thrilling finish to the Ballarat Cup. And Novak Djokovic on track to break more records. Plenty of sport coming up soon, Blake.
See you then, Jack. Thank you. The Ambulance Union warns it faces a critical lack of paramedics and resources. Up next, why the union says it's a matter of life or death. Plus, a demolition derby in a desperate bid to get away from police. Shoppers run for their lives as a gunman opens fire in a mall. And trains stop to save ducklings in Melbourne's southeast.
One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness fight them.
The Ring trilogy continues, a massive Saturday night.
Even the smallest person can change the course of the future.
The Lord of the Rings, tonight on 7.
Discover the flavour of Christmas with our exclusive Australian-made gold dessert range. Some infused with native ingredients, like gold pear and ribery fruit mince tarts. Sharing the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
At E&S, we know that nothing feels better than getting that new appliance feeling, like this huge 9-kilo Bosch front loader, made in Germany, only $11.99. Or this Westinghouse dishwasher, only $7.99. And Fisher & Paykel quad door fridge, only $34.99. Plus get free delivery and removal on fridges, freezers, dishwashers, washers and dryers. And we won't be beaten on price. So visit one of our 9 showrooms today, or shop online and get the E&S feeling for less.
We always thought Valia provided a feel-good start to the day. Then we discovered its special probiotics are proven to boost immunity and digestion, all in a deliciously creamy yogurt. Now we know why Valia is so full of feel-goodness.
Look around. As the favourites come out, it begins. Observing with an eagle eye. Mastering the art of stashing. Oh, brilliant move, Grant. Cadbury favourites. Everyone gets their favourites.
Maybe we could find ways to call time out on our kids' busy routines before they get sick. But if they do, Children's Panadol can start to reduce fever in just 15 minutes. Together, let's rethink care.
Everyone knows Australia has 4 big banks, but the 5th biggest retail bank is regularly voted one of the most trusted brands in Australia, looks after more than 1.8 million customers and can be found in over 500 locations nationwide. So try Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Happy birthday!
Are you serious?
Help take care of your family with Medibank Life Insurance. Apply for cover up to $2.5 million, depending on age and income.
Free roaming goodness. You really should try it. Dairy Farmers A2 Goodness. Goodness from pasture-raised free roaming cows.
For a limited time only at Amart Furniture, we've got our Mega Black Friday sale with up to 50% off store-wide on hundreds of items. So what are you waiting for? Amart Furniture, on sale this week only.
Paramedics say there's a critical shortage of resources needed to save lives in regional Victoria. They're furious. A patient had to sit in the front seat of an ambulance on the way to hospital because a stretcher vehicle wasn't available.
The ambulance union says an emergency call-out in Bendigo last night is a glimpse of the reality faced by paramedics and patients.
Unfortunately, due to lack of resourcing, there was no stretcher vehicle available, and the Micah single responder had to transport a patient, a cardiac monitored patient, upright in the passenger seat.
But the health minister denies that was due to a lack of resources.
Judgment was made that the best way to get the dehydrated lady to the appropriate services was made.
Danny Hill says Bendigo is at crisis point.
You know, people are tired and they're really starting to fear for the community, and a lot of the paramedics who live in Bendigo are actually telling us they don't feel safe having their family live there.
When the ambulance union is telling us that this government has got it wrong, that this government is letting down Victorians, I think it's time to listen.
The lifting of coronavirus restrictions has seen an increase in call-outs in regional Victoria. There aren't enough paramedics. Towns are being left uncovered.
A few nights ago, a crew had to respond from Rochester into an emergency case in Bendigo, so that's 70 kilometres away.
The ambulance union says lives are at risk in regional Victoria because state government funding isn't getting to the towns that need it most.
We have the best paramedics anywhere in the world here in Victoria, but if they're coming from 70 kilometres away, and the patient has very little chance of survival.
Sarah Jones, 7 News.
A mother has been accused of stabbing her son during a fight at their home in a wealthy Sydney neighbourhood. Paramedics treated the man for life-threatening injuries as his 55-year-old mother was restrained inside the mansion. She'll spend the night behind bars before fronting court tomorrow. An accused car thief has bulldozed his way through peak hour traffic, smashing into cars and injuring a 7-year-old girl. Police describe him as a menace with no regard for public safety.
Driving like he's in a Dodgem car straight through peak hour traffic. This man wasn't being chased by police until he did this right in front of them. They followed as 20-year-old Major's path of destruction grew, the accused driver mounting one vehicle and crashing into another as he tore down the motorway. From there, he allegedly crashed into a truck before fleeing on foot with police hot on his tail. In 40 minutes, the madness was over.
Watch your head.
This morning, he applied for bail but was refused. Police revealing Major was on probation and lucky the impacts of his alleged actions weren't worse. Inside one of the cars Major allegedly hit was a 7-year-old girl who had to be taken to hospital with neck injuries. Thankfully, nobody else was injured, but the damage bill is large. Mackenzie Rawn, 7 News.
Several people have been injured and a gunman is at large after another mass shooting in the US. The violence erupted near a department store in Wisconsin, leaving 8 victims, including a teenager with gunshot wounds. Everyone survived. Tactical response police swarmed them all, but the shooter had fled.
Preliminary statements from witnesses indicate that the shooter is a white male in his 20s or 30s.
The area remains in lockdown as police hunt the suspects. Some brave Metro train workers have come to the aid of 12 ducklings stranded on the tracks near Cheltenham Station. Trains were delayed in both directions for 15 minutes as the delicate rescue mission was carried out. All 12 ducklings are tonight safe in the care of wildlife officers. There are new ways homeowners can save thousands of dollars when it comes time to sell their property, from fixed agent fees to immediate property feedback. How innovative selling methods are making their way into housing markets coming up a little later. Melina joins us now with a look at the weather. Mel, we'll have another warm one tomorrow.
Blake, light northeasterly breezes are helping our temperatures creep up, but we will have rain and storms late in the day. It is a lovely evening in the city tonight, 21 degrees out there right now. The city got to 25 today. It was a few degrees cooler in Geelong, 22.8 degrees there. This is Leopold in Geelong this morning. These photos were taken just a few minutes apart, showing the mixture of sun and cloud that we had throughout the day. We are warming up again tomorrow before rain and storms arrive later in the day. They could deliver Melbourne its first decent rainfall this month. I'll have all those details after sport, Blake.
See you soon, Mel. Thank you. Victoria's debt will hit $155 billion in the next 4 years. Up next, live to State Parliament as the Treasurer defends his massive spending blitz. Plus, an extraordinary miscarriage of justice, a decade in jail for a murder he did not commit. An elephant in big trouble stuck down a well, but there is a happy ending. And the Malvern schoolgirl kicking goals with a clever COVID invention.
He thinks that I'm into you.
Crazy, huh?
Totally.
I'm not going to lose you too. You really thought you'd get away with it? Constable Thorne.
The final week of Home and Away, next week on 7.
This is the Dyson Corral Straightener with manganese copper alloy plates that flex, shape and gather for enhanced styling with less damage. Dyson Corral.
It's Black November at Nick Scali. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines. Up to 30, 40 and 50% off. Our floor stock must go. Limited stock, limited time. Black November at all Nick Scali stores. Hurry.
Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award-winning wealth manager, returning a current variable rate of 4.5% reviewed monthly on a 12-month investment. Make your money work harder for you. Call 13 80 10.
Christmas at all, 'cause I remember when you were here and all the fun we had last year. Pretty lights on the tree, I'm watching them shine. You should be here with me, baby, please come home.
On the other side of your comfort zone, that's where brilliance lies. And there's only one way to get there. Made Brave, the 4 Series Coupe.
Transform your backyard into your own home stadium in time for Stratco National Patio Day.
Order your Stratco Outback Patio gable roof shed or ambient blinds now for delivery before Christmas. Get in fast. T's and C's apply.
You bring the dream, Stratco will bring the how-to.
It's Black November at Nick Scali. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines. Lounges reduced, dining tables reduced, dining chairs reduced, and much more. Limited stock, limited time. Black November at all Nick Scali stores. Hurry.
Victorians are about to be hit with a budget deficit that will take decades to pay off. Georgia Comensoli has been crunching the numbers. Georgia, the state's public debt is tipped to top $150 billion.
Blake, this year's deficit alone is set to pass $23 billion as the state government spends at record levels to fight through our COVID-induced recession. The delayed budget will finally be handed down on Tuesday. In it, we're told to expect revenue will have fallen by 12% since last year, partly because of the real estate shutdown during lockdown, with stamp duty taking a hit. Treasurer Tim Pallas has revealed they'll be spending around $80 billion on infrastructure over the next 4 years. He defended the spending spree this afternoon, arguing it's the best way to repair the financial hardship caused by the pandemic.
It's also vitally important that Victorian households and Victorian businesses need to understand that we'll use our balance sheet to support them through these difficult times.
The plan gets the tick of approval from the boss of the Reserve Bank, who's encouraging all states to spend and borrow heavily, making the most of low interest rates. Blake?
Georgia Comensoli there. Thank you. One man's 13-year fight for innocence has come to a victorious end after he was acquitted of murdering his pregnant partner. Scott Ostick always maintained he didn't do it, and after more than a decade behind bars, a retrial jury agreed.
A simple beer in a suburban backyard, a Friday night ritual for many, but for this family it has been 13 years between drinks.
Where's our other boy?
Scott Ostick, just hours after winning the legal fight of his life.
It's unbelievable, just brought tears to my eyes.
An innocent man reclaiming long-lost years in prison away from family and friends.
Relief.
Yeah.
After, a long time.
Too long, yep.
Ostick's defence successfully argued that some police investigators had acted corruptly, that key police evidence was planted, evidence that we'd also investigated and reported on 7 News for 2 years. Just one example, the alleged murder weapon, a knife. The blade didn't match 21 stab wounds on the victim, Stacey Thorne, and carried none of Scott's DNA. After a 3-week retrial, the jury took just 2 hours to declare Ostick not guilty.
We were always quietly confident of our case and more relieved than anything else that he got a fair trial.
But the verdict triggered great anger at court from Stacey's family.
I was numb. I couldn't believe it. It was just a big shock. Couldn't believe what the bloke was saying, and we're still in shock. They let the killer out yesterday, they let him out.
In making its decision, the jury, however, released an innocent man who shouldn't have been jailed. The pressure is now on WA Police to find the real killer and investigate who helped frame Scott Ostick.
They've acquitted him on the basis that there was some police corruption, and that's the logical inference you can draw from that. So I think there should be. I think the attorney should have a look at it.
Justice served for Ostick. Now, justice needed for Stacey Thorne and the baby she and Scott lost in that horrific crime.
She didn't deserve to get what happened, and she's lost a baby.
I hope that someone does hand themselves in for the death of Stacey and her child, which was my child as well.
Michael Usher, 7 News.
A marathon rescue mission has had a happy ending in southern India after an elephant took a tumble and got stuck down a well. Rescuers worked for 14 hours using excavators, a truck and a crane to winch the animal to safety. Dangling upside down, she was hoisted up, unharmed and sent back into the wild. A young Malvern schoolgirl has come up with a clever invention to help stop the spread of germs. Grace created a Kick Me pedestrian button so people don't have to use their hands at traffic lights.
Grace Howard is just 8 years old, but her simple invention could solve a universal problem.
My idea is simple and easy to use. Hands-free solution to a current problem that has come about with the COVID-19 pandemic.
She came up with the idea for a Kick Me pedestrian button during stage 4 lockdown in Melbourne.
I noticed a lot of people doing high kicks or using anything except for their hands to press the pedestrian crossing button.
More than 2,000 children entered Origin's Little Big Idea competition.
My idea can also be helpful for situations when people are unable to use their arms.
Nearly everyone who hears about our idea are like, yes,
that affects me. So she's done a really good job.
Grace was surprised with a $10,000 cheque in front of her class.
You're actually the national winner.
I think the judges liked the most about Grace's idea was the simplicity of it and in just such a practical nature.
It's no surprise Grace already has big plans when she finishes school.
I'd like to be a scientist and find cures for people and sicknesses.
Melina Saris, 7 News.
I like the idea too. Well done, Grace. Rail commuters have been confronted by an ugly fight on a city train. Up next, what happened when police arrived to break it up. How homeowners can save thousands when it's time to sell their property. Princess Diana's life in the spotlight. Experts sort the fact from fiction. And a trampoline sent flying by wild winds.
The Big Bash is back on 7. Bring on the stars.
I love watching Chris Lynn bat cheeky wink to the camera after he belts one out of the ground.
You want to watch him every chance you get because he's just brilliant.
It's gone a long, long way.
I can't say that I'm looking forward to having a bowl against him.
Have a look at this. It's brutal. That's monstrous. That's awesome.
The Big Bash starts December 10 on 7.
I'm too tired.
The weather's a bit dodgy.
There's always plenty of excuses.
Then once you're out there,
yeah, boy,
it's always worth it.
I know I can go anywhere with MacPack and just enjoy the moment.
I've brought you something.
Wouldn't it be nice? I'd like a bar of chocolate, please. Happy birthday, Mum.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
A lot of people have sensitive teeth, but gum health is really important. The new Sensodyne Sensitivity in Gum toothpaste not only deals with sensitivity, it also maintains gum health. 2 benefits from 1 toothpaste. What a great idea.
It's Black November at Nick Scali. We must clear our floor stock and discontinued lines. Lounges reduced, dining tables reduced, dining chairs reduced, and much more. Limited stock, limited time. Black November at all Nick Scali stores. Hurry.
Let's get ready to walk the Bluestones again. Let's curse Punt Road. Let's ride the Frankston line. Let's cross the Inglorious River. Let's get ready to chuck hook turns in the rain. Let's wear the blackest black. Let's Gertrude. Let's Bay. Let's Burke. Let's Hoddle. Let's Melbourne again. An initiative to reinvigorate Melbourne from those who love this city.
With the world turned on its head, many of us aren't feeling like ourselves. But what happens in your head doesn't have to stay there. There are things we can do to feel better, like staying connected, keeping busy, and being active. How's your head today? For info, advice, and professional support, visit headtohealth.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
What can you get for Christmas at Kogan.com? You can meet Santa Claus. Santa Claus. Santa paws. Santa paws. Santa doors. Santa straws? Ugh, Santa snores. Get it quick smart at Kogan.com.
Commuters got more than they bargained for when a fight broke out at Flinders Street Station. The confronting scene was filmed by a passenger as 5 people pushed and shoved each other on the platform. One of the men took a woman's purse, which she dropped. Police were called, but victims refused to make a complaint and no one was injured. Homeowners looking to sell their properties are being offered enticing ways to save money. Some real estate agents now use fixed fees, while owners are also being given immediate feedback from prospective buyers.
A home selling boom. This property sold for more than $1 million over the reserve this week. Regardless of price, most homes aren't on the market long.
Houses at the moment are selling within 2 to 3 weeks.
More agents are also promoting new fixed commission and marketing fees.
A $600,000 home, or it could be $1 million home. It still would be $8,900.
Mother of four, Tracy Fay, saved $14,000.
That could be like a massive deposit that over a period of time on a mortgage would save $100,000.
Tracy even went a step further. She was able to bypass her agent's feedback using an Australian-first application called Property Dashboard. It gives sellers real-time updates on what buyers think.
As people are leaving my home, potential buyers, they're putting their comments in themselves. So I'm hearing their words.
For example, good-sized backyard, too expensive and well presented. Peace of mind over a coffee she sold in 2.5 weeks. Recently awarded Mortgage Broker of the Year, George Samios, has 2 big mortgage saving tips.
Have your transaction accounts with the same bank as your mortgage, and even better is if you have multiple offset accounts. Stay away from interest-only loans.
Helping to keep the Aussie dream alive. Steve Titmus, 7 News.
There was a strange sight over the skies of California when a trampoline was sent flying.
Oh my God, it's going to land on the freeway!
Locals say it was propelled by a funnel cloud as wild winds swept through. The trampoline was eventually returned to its rightful home with no injuries reported. It's been called trolling on a Hollywood budget, but royal experts are divided over the latest season of The Crown featuring Charles and Diana. Producers admit taking a fair amount of artistic licence. Tonight, we explore what's real and what's made up.
Season 4 of The Crown and a new star is born.
Lady Diana Spencer, Your Majesty.
I was speaking. It's Diana up against the royals.
More or less the whole royal family come out of it badly and you rather dislike them, whereas Diana comes out as a kind of saint, and I'm sorry, that's not exactly true.
Royal historian Hugo Vickers has been watching, picking apart fact from fiction. He says despite her portrayal, Diana wasn't clueless about royal protocol, but her battle with bulimia was real. What's in contention is how early it started.
She became terribly thin, of course, even actually just before the wedding as well. That time when she went to St Paul's Cathedral for the rehearsal, she was incredibly thin.
Diana was cooped up in Buckingham Palace, often lonely. The roller skates, though, likely some artistic licence.
There should be a great big signpost at the beginning of this series saying this is fiction, not fact. But it's based on fact.
And that tempestuous relationship with Charles...
No, thanks to you, people are laughing in my face! I think the Prince of Wales today, compared to the Prince of Wales 25 years ago, is a completely different man.
On their trip to Australia, it wasn't raining when they landed in the Alice, but Charles was jealous of this.
Because that was really, I suppose, the first time that she began to turn into a superstar.
The Crown's writer says the storylines are researched and based on fact, but concedes some parts are made up in his head, and members of the royal family are characters in the drama. But for some, that's enough.
Yes, the conversations are made up. Yes, certain scenes are completely made up. But is he getting to the greater truth? Yeah, I think he probably is.
In an entertaining way. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
He is one of Australia's best-known entertainers. Now, Whispering Jack is getting his own musical. A stage production is in the works using the music of John Farnham. The musical won't be about Farnham's life, but will include his greatest hits. His manager, Glenn Wheatley, started the project while in lockdown. Josh Dunkley has spoken openly about his failed move to Essendon. Jackie Felgate, he wants to win back some respect.
That's right, Blake. Yes, hear from the Dogs midfielder next about his meeting with Luke Beveridge. But today, a footy was nowhere in sight as he rolled the arm over in the bush. Aussie cricket's odd couple hatching plans to get India's King Kohli. Novak Djokovic on track for another dream showdown with Rafael Nadal. And baby joy for 2 of Australia's sports stars.
To be the best, they must face the best.
I want all four.
A mastermind champion. A hot seat winner.
$100,000.
This is Australia's greatest quiz challenge. Beat the Chasers. Sunday at 7 on 7.
Red Rock Deli. Discover a world of deliciousness.
Bring on the gifts they deserve more than ever, with hundreds of new toys from brands like Lego, Barbie and Paw Patrol. Big W, every day's a big day.
Victoria, every test we take helps.
Stop worrying about that sniffle.
And go to work safely.
So even if your symptoms are mild,
or you've been tested before,
every test helps.
For testing locations, visit coronavirus.vic.gov.au.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne. When your hair's not weighed down, you can do the day. Introducing new Pantene 0% silicone. Unlike silicones found in ordinary shampoos, Pantene has nourishing lipids. Repair the damage for 100% stronger hair. So you can do the next day. Do new Pantene. Do 0% silicone. Do 100% stronger hair.
With the Fitbit Premium app and an EDA sensor on your wrist, you can manage stress before it manages you. Introducing a smarter way to transform your health.
Grow your own veggies with Rich Grow Black Marble liquid tomato and vegetable food. It's high in nitrogen, iron and potash to create the Rich Grow effect. For bigger, tastier tomatoes and veggies, grab some today and grow you good things.
Bring on the biggest and brightest smiles this Christmas with 20% off Mirabella Christmas lights. Big W, every day's a big day.
Move with confidence at the BMW Expo Sale event with complimentary stamp duty, registration and service inclusive on selected new BMW models. Don't miss the BMW Expo on now until November 28. Book an appointment today.
After all that we've been through, I will make it up to you. I promise to.
Gippsland Dairy Yogurt. The taste made me do it.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are finding great Christmas deals, like Keanu's Wreaths, Steve's Carols, Michael's Cane, and Ringo's Star. For anything Christmas and everything else, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
Bring on the surprises they'll never see coming by sending your purchases straight to your loved ones with a gift message when you shop online. Big W, every day's a big day.
The greatest series finale of all time. The final ever MASH. Sunday on 7/2.
Welcome back. Bulldogs star midfielder Josh Dunkley has revealed he's out to win back the respect of his teammates after a failed trade request to Essendon. Dunkley says a heart-to-heart with coach Luke Beveridge has helped clear the air.
With the dust still settling from his failed trade request to the Bombers, Bulldog Josh Dunkley is just glad to be back home in the rolling hills of Yarram in eastern Victoria.
It's been nice to come home and see the family. I've spent a few weeks here now.
Rolling the arm over alongside Dad and former Sydney Swans defender Andrew, it's been a difficult few weeks for the 23-year-old. Offered a lucrative long-term deal at Essendon, Dunkley thought he'd finish the trade period in red and black. But with 2 years left on his contract, the Bulldogs held firm. Pick 7 and a future second-round selection, not enough to get the trade over the line.
In the back of my mind, I knew that it was a possibility after coming out and asking to go to Essendon. But it's nice to be able to know that you are wanted at the club now, and I'm really excited to get back there and get to work.
But there won't be any issues on his part returning to the kennel.
Caught up with Bevo the other night in Melbourne, let the dust settle a little bit, and then caught up with him. Actually drove out to his place and we had a good chat, and the boys have made me feel really comfortable. It's nice to be able to go back now and really put my head down and earn that respect if I have lost any.
More time as an inside midfielder was a big part of the Essendon attraction. The Dogs have only strengthened their engine room with the addition of Adam Treloar.
You can't just roll into a footy club and think that you're going to play midfield time. You've got to really put your head down and work hard, and that's what I'm going to do.
Dunkley's first official day back at the Whitten Oval will be in early next year, when the rest of the senior Dogs return for the first day of pre-season in the first week of January. Until then, plenty of time to spend out in the middle for his local cricket side. Andrew McCormack, 7 News.
Australian spinner Adam Zampa is a unique character and not shying away from being a little different. He's revealed a new breathing routine could unlock the key to a successful summer against India.
Adam Zampa is quite used to hub life these days.
The first thing I pack, mate, my little coffee setup. I've got a really good setup going at the moment. I've got a little fry pan and I get the organic groceries in from the grocery store and do all my own cooking.
And Aussie teammates are embracing his uniqueness.
I don't get the old take the piss out of the vegan jokes anymore.
It now extends further. His best mate, Marcus Stoinis, introduced him to the Wim Hof breathing method.
Breathe deep and you will be able to oppose the stress of the cold.
Something he's now done every day for the last 3 months.
I would assume it's probably a very similar feeling to meditation, that euphoric feeling that you get afterwards.
Yeah, me and Zorb do a bit of breathing together, bit of meditation, a few sort of different exercises, ice baths and all that sort of stuff.
And it could just be the key to a successful summer. Zampa has snared Virat Kohli's wicket 7 times, the most by an Australian. Their relationship as teammates in the IPL revealing another side.
You see him as this aggressive guy on the field who's up for the fight, which he always is, but he's actually one of the most relaxed guys off the field.
Virat Kohli's short stint here in the country might provide more motivation for the Indian superstar.
Don't worry about Virat. He's up for every single game that he's playing.
Stoinis is crediting Ricky Ponting for his successful IPL campaign.
The confidence he instills in you, the way he teaches you, he's as good as you'll get.
The one-day series begins Friday. Tim Hipsley, 7 News.
Finals came a week early in the WBBL with pace setters and the Stars. The Heat playing out a thriller. Meg Lanning took the Heat early.
A big wicket. It held up on the wicket. Meg Lanning's gone. Second ball for naught.
A half-century from Mignon du Preez guided the Stars to 151, but Brisbane were up to the challenge, chasing down the total with 4 balls to spare. The Stars still remain on top of the ladder and will face the Sixers tomorrow. Finishers don't get much closer than this thriller in the Ballarat Cup.
Swooping home WT gamekeeper, a fair to remember, great finish, Irish Flame. I think Irish Flame has just won from a fair to remember.
He is the best. Race caller Matt Hill was spot on. Irish Flame won by a head from a fair to remember. 33-year-old Novak Djokovic remains on track to become the oldest winner of the ATP Finals after a straight sets win over Alexander Zverev. But the German at least got the better of Djokovic in this 16-shot rally.
Incredible tennis. What a point.
Djokovic now meets Dominic Thiem in the semi-finals. And Aussie Sports power couple Joe and Renee Ingles have added to their family, welcoming a baby boy named Jack. The NBA star broke the news on social media with his wife and former netballer nursing their new arrival, saying he's happy and healthy. The pair already have twins. That's a full house there, Blake, and that's all for sport.
Very cute. Thank you, Jack. We have a quick word of congratulations to 7 News reporter Amelia Brace and cameraman Tim Myers. They've been recognised with a Walkley Award for their work during the Black Lives Matter protests in the US in June. They continued broadcasting live despite being assaulted by American police in a crackdown outside the White House. Amelia later gave evidence at a US congressional committee as part of an investigation into the police response to the peaceful protests. All right, Melina is next with the forecast. Mel, when's the rain arriving tomorrow?
Well, Blake, we start warm and sunny. Showers are possible in the afternoon, but the bulk of that rain will be at night. I'll have all the details next.
It's ruthless. It's unforgiving.
There's no second place. No weak links here. No weak links. Get down, get down. Over here! Come on! Move!
There can only be a couple of people that pass this course.
Come on!
If you're not keeping up you're gone.
This will not stop. This will not end until one of you give me your number.
This is where the human body pushes beyond any limit.
You want to give me your number? Do you? There's a above your head. Let's go.
This sense of achievement is a life changer.
The final SAS Australia on 7. Monday, 7:30 on 7.
Let's do it, baby. It's on, mate.
Make this week one to remember. Run second, third or even fourth and get money back in bonus up to $50 on selected races every day. PointsBet.
I'm a Venus. She's got it, baby, she's got it. I'm a Venus, I'm a fire, my desire. I'm a Venus.
When you don't want to leave your car, choose Domino's new car park delivery for no extra charge. Try it with a barbecue meat lovers from $4.95 on the Domino's app. Maximum one per order.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
Superannuation may seem like a faraway thing, but a little change today can help grow your balance for the future. As a fund run only to benefit members, Hester can keep fees down, so more money stays in your account. Hester, time to invest in yourself.
$1 upsize deal on Australian-made mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman. Purchase a selected Australian-made queen-size mattress or ensemble from King Coil, Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker, Beauty Rest or Body Balance, and for $1 more, upgrade to a king size. Plus, buy on 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card valued at up to $500. Harvey Norman, supporting Australian-made and local manufacturing with $1 upsize deal on selected Australian-made mattresses and ensembles. Limited time only at Harvey Norman.
When it comes to money, we can go to extremes. Find out how much you could save and apply online at homeloans.com.au.
Real Christmas magic at Terry White Chemmart means real value on Blackmores, Oral-B, Futuro Braces, Nicotinell, La Roche-Posay and Cetaphil. Plus, earn double Qantas points for a limited time only. Real value every day at Terry White Chemmart. Christmas catalogue out now.
This is the week to bag a bargain. Your complete guide to the deals is on Sunrise. Plus, step inside the cars set to revolutionise our roads. The new guide to Aussie Christmas lunch. What's hot, what's fresh, where you'll get the best value. Girl power hits Brekkie Central. And every day, there's cash to give away.
Oh my God, thank you, Cash Cow.
On Sunrise.
Hello again. We are warming up even more tomorrow before a change late in the day. The city began on 13 degrees and rose to a top of 25. Outside now, sitting on 22 out there. It was warm and partly cloudy over the suburbs. Scoresby made it to 30 degrees, 29 at Moorabbin, 27 at Yarra Glen and Essendon. The north of the state is having a hot weekend. 39 in Yarrawonga today, 38 at Swan Hill. Those temperatures are around 11 degrees above the November average. Temperatures were closer to average across the south of the state. Taking a look at the satellite, a low pressure trough is approaching northwest Victoria. That's coming in from South Australia. A weak low is expected to form within that trough overnight before the entire system moves across Victoria on Sunday and early on Monday. Wild thunderstorms swept through Sydney yesterday afternoon and the skies lit up last night. There were some spectacular lightning displays over the harbour city. It's been a much calmer day there today with partly cloudy skies. And if we take a look around the nation for tomorrow, The southeastern states have a taste of summer this weekend. Temperatures have been up to 14 degrees above average for this time of year. It is 30 degrees in Brisbane tomorrow, 30 in Canberra as well, but rain and storms will bring relief late in the day. 34 in Adelaide with showers and storms as well. And we will see some of that shower activity in Victoria too. Scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms start in the southwest and extend across the state during the day. Those showers will increase at night, and we could also see some severe thunderstorms in the north and the east tomorrow afternoon. Mildura and Swan Hill, very hot there tomorrow, heading for a top of 41 degrees, 40 at Echuca. Closer in, we'll start the day partly cloudy. There is the slight risk of a shower in the afternoon, but showers and thunderstorms are more likely at night, continuing into Monday morning. It is staying warm though. Sunbury, Essendon, Watsonia and Yarra Glen all climbing into the 30s. A little cooler in the south, 27 degrees there at Geelong and Frankston. It'll be mild in the city overnight and shouldn't drop below 19 degrees. Then we are expecting a top of 29. Showers are likely to increase later in the day, up to 8 millimetres is forecast. Those showers tend to rain on Monday morning. We can expect around 15 millimetres, but they should ease to drizzle in the afternoon, heading for a top of 20 degrees. We're all dried out by Tuesday, partly cloudy, 21. Sunny and 29 degrees on Wednesday, partly cloudy, 24 on Thursday. Plenty of sunshine on Friday, 27. Next Saturday, partly cloudy, 23. And in the city tomorrow, partly cloudy, then showers later in the day, 29 degrees, Blake.
Nice work. Thank you, Mel. And that is 7 News. Thanks for making us part of your Saturday. We'll have updates later. For now, from the 7 News team, good night.